Salt Lake City, Utah at the Sports Mall, where we have the Race for 8 men's quarterfinals. My name is Dave Vincent alongside Dave Fink. Nate Alvarado and Luis Cordova. They did play back in Tucson, Arizona earlier, went to tiebreaker, and now Abraham Montijo is going to make the announcement, Dave. What were we going to say?
This is a rematch. This is the third time these guys have played on the tour this year. As you said, Dave, Luis took Nate to a tiebreaker.
All right, we're going to begin this quarterfinal match. Serving first, we have Luis Cordova from Juarez, Mexico. And receiving, we have Nate Alvarado Jr. from Aspera, California.
Luis Cordova and Nate both born in Juarez, Mexico.
Luis
Believe it or not.
and Anthony are your linesmen. 0-0.
Now remember, Dave, Luis Cordova has already been to war here 3 matches. Nate Alvarado has yet to hit a ball in this event. Luis Cordova has already won 3 matches to advance here. We'll see if that could benefit him. He's used to the courts. Or maybe if there's a little bit of fatigue that'll set in.
Well, in the same sort of scenario in Tucson, it actually benefited him because Nate didn't have that game under his belt. So Nate did something different. He came in a day early, and he's already been on this court multiple times warming up. I saw him on here yesterday hitting the ball. He doesn't want to have the same thing that happened in Tucson, although that shot looked sort of similar to Tucson earlier in April.
2-0.
Excuse me, in November. We hold so many tournaments in Tucson. I know it's either April or November.
And Nate not even moving for that ball, Dave, that was about 2 feet high.
3-0. Side out.
I like that serve that Luis Cordova is hitting Nate. I didn't like it against Armando, but that takes Nate out of his comfort zone.
Well, this right here puts him into it. It's going to be a big setup for Nate. Let's see how relaxed he is here.
This is a very, very good court, Dave. It's not too fast, but it's true.
Side out.
The ball really comes off the front wall nicely.
4-1.
Well, they have the panel on this court. You see, it's vertical as opposed to that diagonal type paneling that you see on the sidewalls. Excuse me, on some courts, not here. The sidewalls are also vertical, but behind it is concrete. Most of the time you see the panel where it's actually diagonal or horizontal to the ground.
I believe you said that there's panel over top of the concrete.
Right, yeah, that's right.
So it's a very solid panel.
Just has a loud sound too. I love the courts here. Love the people here.
It's a great place. Nate Alvarado Jr., Dave, 6 points into this match, has yet to end a rally with a kill shot or a pass. And of course, just as I say that, but it was Luis Cordova who made 2 airs off the back wall with his right hand, handing Nate those first 2 points, and now Nate on the kill shot board. It's a K board. We actually wave Ks here.
That's right.
And the crowd has Ks also.
Point.
Much like at a Roger Clemens game, you have the backwards K also if you flat roll it. That's a backwards K. I know you knew that. I'm just letting people at home know.
Well, this facility is perfect because there's an overhang where you can hang those Ks, and they've got these little brackets that they put on the top. It makes it just perfect for this location.
The K is sponsored by Von Stalsberg.
5-4.
Who owns Ace Outdoors as well as Ace Disposal.
Point.
Love the front wall. The way it looks on the screen here is unbelievable in high definition. 6-4 score first game, best 2 out of 3 to 25.
Replay. Replay.
Nate walking toward the server's box, trying to get a avoidable hinder for Luis backing into him on the serve. And this is something you've been talking about.
6-4.
And I know we're going to talk about it tonight at the pro player meeting, where the server is serving and backing into the person returning the serve.
Side out.
Nate goes straight over the top of that ball, gets a side out, and his 5th point.
5-6. Replay.
Nadi's playing very uninspired handball right now, Dave. Looks like he just got out of bed the way he's playing.
Referee's now talking in Spanish here.
He actually sleeps with that gel in his hair, so it does look like he just got out of bed. Wakes up looking pretty much perfect.
Point.
Are you talking about Nadi?
Yes.
I was telling
I know
people,
you thought I was talking about you.
No, I was talking about Luis
6-6.
Cordova, and a lot of people don't know this, that he actually has a whole bunch of different combos of that same type of hair in his closet. It's just sort of like a helmet. He puts it on. It depends on where he's at. I don't know if you've seen the orange one that he puts on sometimes, but that isn't his real hair.
Side out.
Well,
Luis
I
Cordova.
knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, some people don't know that. It's just a headband.
Well, I roomed with him
Okay.
in the last event, so yes, I do
7-6.
know.
Have you seen the one that's got the kind of the light purple with the red in it?
He didn't bring that one to Atlanta, but I've seen him wear it before.
It's unbelievable.
That was a very strange play there. Both guys stopping.
Calling that a point. Do you want the contact? Did you call contact? If you call contact and stop, then we're going to stop, yeah. But don't take the shot. Just stop.
This is interesting here. Now you're going to hear some Spanish.
I thought it was shoulder to shoulder. I didn't think it.
I'd like to see a replay
thought
of the
it was-
beginning of
I
that.
thought it was
Nadi's saying just
accidental.
replay it.
It's a replay because he's held up. They just call it and stop right away. Don't take the shot.
I think you can
7-6.
kind of follow what's going on at home. We don't have to explain everything here. There was a contact. One player stopped, the other one played through it. Referee saw the contact and he
Side
said,
out.
well, there was contact.
I don't even want to talk about that play. It was just so sloppy and so bad all around by all three guys, both players and the ref, that I'm just going to pretend I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
all right. For those that didn't catch it, though, I
That's
just
a
wanted
side
to...
out. He backed up.
Ooh, I like that call from a referee.
I disagree with it. Like the most I have ever seen. That ball was deep in the back court, coming around the revolving door.
It wasn't, but he did back up. No,
That was a
it's
terrible
not
call.
automatic.
I agree with you.
I saw.
If it was deep in the court, it wasn't one that came out toward the dotted line. He did back out.
Step back. But that's the way I saw it.
It was the worst call I think I've ever seen in my life. I'd like to see a replay of that so you can see what I'm talking about here, Dave. Replay of the.
I
from the
agree with
serve.
you, David. Nadi was almost in the server's box. I mean, there was nowhere he
That was
could
side out
have
and
gone.
8-7.
If that was a huge revolving door that came out toward the dotted line, that's the problem when the person backs in. See, I mean, Cordova backed in there.
We've seen Nadi in the past actually back up. That time he didn't back up, though.
Look how close those guys are right
Point.
there on that play.
Nine 7. Point.
Deep crack right here from Cordova, now bringing it to 10-7 and gathering some points here.
10-7.
You oftentimes see Nadi Alvarado fiddling with his eye guards. He cannot wear the open lensed eye guards because he has an overactive tear duct.
To replay. Replay. To replay.
Well, Nadi's just saying the
Hit
same
his leg.
thing.
It's not an avoidable.
Nadi went around the revolving door and hit Cordova
It's a
just like
replay.
what happened to him earlier. And Nadi's saying, hey, it's an avoidable. That's you're going to call the revolving door here.
You see Nadi, Dave, work his way into tournaments. He might play the first round at 60% and then move up to 80% when he needs it, and then maybe even 100. But
Okay.
right now, he's going to have to step on the gas a little bit more here, Dave, because this Nadi
10-7.
Alvarado is not going to beat Luis Cordova.
Point. 11-7.
You know, on a testament to Abe Montijo, he was told by the reffing committee that, and some of the players that have been reviewed in the ref circle after
Point.
the matches have been told that we are no longer allowing the server to serve the ball and then back in to take away that shot. And so Nadi
12-7.
Alvarado served the ball, and he took a couple steps back, and the referee called a quick trigger. I don't agree with the call because I think that it's two different circumstances. What we saw is a server serving the ball, and the revolving door shot that comes around, that comes toward the middle of the court near the dotted line, is where the guy shouldn't be backing into you. But what happened was Cordova served the ball that was really deep, that barely revolves. And Nadi served that ball that barely revolved in the revolving door, and Cordova just spun around and flipped it and hit Nadi. I don't believe that was unavoidable. Nadi's still holding on to that. Has a little problem with the referee here.
Another strange play there, and Nadi actually walking right to that ball.
This is turning into a zoo here.
The referee has lost control here of this match. The inmates are running the asylum, as they say.
What I was going to tell you earlier about Nadi, can't wear the open lens goggles because he has an overactive tear duct that he had to have surgery on his eye. The open air hits it and creates a whole bunch of havoc with his eye where he can't see, so he has to wear these like Oakley type eye guards that was short.
Field called it short. Both agree. Second.
Whatever you say it out loud. I'm not ventriloquist here.
Side out.
And there's a side out called right there.
13-8.
And Nadi Alvarado completely fooled there. Nadi looked like one of his opponents
14-8.
trying to return his serve there. Nadi just has not looked good at all here, Dave.
Point.
He hasn't moved well. He's not hitting the ball well. Luis Cordova just very comfortable now.
15-8.
This is the 4th time these guys have played, Dave, in a year. Luis Cordova drawing Nadi Alvarado last year at the HBC pre-race, and Nadi just made him look foolish, and now it's almost a complete reversal here. And that could be the spark right there, Dave. You don't often see Nadi diving in the opening rounds. And now he's stretching his oblique, it looked like there. Dave, but Nadi won't win this game or match in second gear. He'll have to shift.
Well, I believe he thinks that he can, and I think that's one of his problems when it comes to Luis Cordova. He isn't seeing what we see. We see him play, and he's, from tournament to tournament, getting better. I think that he thinks he can take a B game in there, and he walks in thinking that, well, I don't need to be sharp to play this kid. I'm just guessing, just by the last 2 out of 3 times I watched him play.
Side out.
There are moments in those games where it seems like he almost doesn't respect the ability of Cordova. Not to try to put words in his head.
Short.
Well, Nadi would never talk like that, but you just read his body language and the way he plays. That's a good Z serve.
Wow, that was a weird return.
Point.
Not a good air there for Luis Cordova, as he was a little flat-footed, set his front foot a little bit too soon, trying to hit that back wall setup, and his timing was completely off. His lower body wasn't working with his upper body, and as a result, a complete mishit.
Those are good serves right there from Nadi.
Pretty good return there from Luis also. Nadi, to me, Dave, and Luis should make that shot every time, and he'll make that about 99 out of 100, but Nadi, to me, Dave, does not look like he's getting his feet set behind the ball and driving into the ball. Looks like he's falling back towards the back wall on almost every one of his swings.
15.
And Nadi Alvarado does not play his best handball falling back. You can see a guy like Sean Lenning, Dave, very effective falling back. Nadi Alvarado plays a lot better stepping into the ball.
This will be a setup for Nadi.
And I don't understand that shot from Nadi. It's a big back wall setup, and he just scoops the ball, Dave, front wall, side wall, Normally, that's the strength of his game, is that back wall kill. He doesn't even go for the kill there.
I think, like
Replay 11-15.
you might have said earlier, that the back wall is a lot quicker here, and I think he hasn't adjusted yet. This might be one of the, it's not the first time he's played here, but it is
Point.
first time
When
in 5
when
to
was
6
the last
years.
time he was here?
He came through here one time with John Bike about 6-7 years ago, and they played an exhibition here.
12-15.
But I mean, you don't remember what every back wall is like.
Right.
Look at
Amazing
that thing
serve
flat
there
out.
for Nadi, and
Timeout, Luis. That's your first.
very smart timeout for Luis. But remember, Dave,
Scores 13-15.
Luis Cordova has missed 2 or 3 very makeable kill shot and re-kill shot attempts. Could very well have broken this game wide open with a 10-point lead. Instead, now it's Nadi comfortable in the server's box, cutting into this lead and now trailing by just 2. But he seems to have found the rhythm in the server's box right now. Not a good sign for the Cordova camp.
Watching the WPH Simple Green Race for 8 live in Salt Lake City, Utah. This is stop number 6. Essentially, there are 7 stops that are
30
acting
seconds.
like qualifiers for a final stop in Seattle, Washington, where we gather points, players get money, and a chance to make it into the top 8. The top 8 invites will go to Seattle, Washington
15 seconds.
for the Players Championship, TPC at WAC.
All right, time in.
A lot of people, Dave, asking me if they
15.
can buy tickets to that event.
Yes, and they will be released shortly.
Okay.
Point.
Now Nadi Alvarado is essentially looking at a 6-point deficit now, 1 point away from tying it up against Cordova.
And I believe the TPC, Dave, is just a
14,
2-day event,
15.
Friday night, all day Saturday, with the finals on Saturday night. And then the towel slapping late Saturday night for the winning team. Is that also considered part of the event?
Yeah, it's not going to be filmed, so no.
Oh, okay.
Point.
What happens at the WAC court number 8 after hours stays on court number 8 after hours.
$15-15.
We're all together here at 15 with Alvarado serving to Cordova.
Amazing serve there for Nadi.
Point.
Absolutely incredible. And that's coming right in our kitchen here, Dave, right in our living room. That
16,
unbelievable
15.
reverse that just seems to die when it hits the floor.
Short.
There must be a secret to the way he hits that, Dave. Is there something he's not telling us?
Second.
I've asked, and he always gets off the subject.
That's a great Z serve. Luis Cordova does well, though, to put Nadi in the back court. And now you see Nadi starting to move his feet. Really starting to engage here in this match. When you see Nadi making those shuffle steps, Dave, preparing to hit the shot, that's when you know Nadi's engaged. And he's stepped up his level. You saw early in this game, for whatever reason, Dave, Nadi
17-15.
completely flat-footed. Feathering balls back to the front wall for Luis Cordova to handle pretty easily. That's a very nice return for Luis.
What would happen if Nadi would have got hit by that ball? Avoidable? He did back down.
Oh, and Nadi thought he'd
Out.
hit a pretty good 2-wall pass there, and Luis Cordova, I think off his thumb there, Dave, but he had the right spin, and it caught the corner
16-17.
rolling out.
16 serve, second, 17 here. It is the first game. Good camera angle there.
Point.
Now we're all together at 17 with Cordova scoring 2 straight, going to 25.
And believe me,
17-17.
Seattle, the rankings, the race standings, that's all on Luis Cordova's mind right now.
That's the only thing he's
Second.
thinking about. I agree with you.
I mean, this is one of those times I'm actually being serious.
I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Nadi
Luis
knows-
Cordova and I
Side out.
talked until 4 a.m. about just the rankings 3 nights in a row in Atlanta. It's not an exaggeration. He, like you, Dave, has all the
18-17.
scenarios.
Replay on that one. Even closer.
If he is right there, it's not an avoidable.
No, but you're right on that. But the first one wasn't an avoidable. That was more closer to the one that he called.
I didn't think that was close to being an avoidable.
Esa no pensé. Yo pensé que esa no era. Sí. 18-17.
The crowd asked Abraham Montijo, who was talking in Spanish. The crowd said, what did he say? And Abe said, "Sí." All of that talking, and all he said was yes.
That's a nice blast there from Nadi Alvarado down the right wall.
Nadi's going to ask for a headband change. Always smart
May
to
go
wear
with
a
the double headband.
Where's 2?
Score was 19-17.
As we look back, not necessarily on the replay here, but the play that Cordova's talking about where Nadi backs down toward the line, Nadi was so far to the right that even though it did revolve out, I mean, Cordova's really given more than 80% of the court there from Nadi. He didn't back into his shot, he backed away from it, I think.
But where else could Nadi go? He can't run himself into the right side wall. He gave Luis, like you said, over 50% of the court.
All right, time in. 19-17. Short ball. Second.
What we are seeing with Raleigh scoring it, here at about 19-17, we're seeing a lot of scores this close. I think if there were a modification to
Replay that.
if there was like some type of modification to the scoring totals, if we went to 21, 21, 21, I think you would see a lot more closer action.
I don't think 21 is a
19,
large enough
17.
frame to really.
Well, we've been playing ball for almost 30 minutes here. This
Short ball.
I could see this being
Short ball.
a very close match if we're going to 21
Called
points.
it short. Both
This
agree.
is only a 1-game sample, so I could be wrong.
Second.
Great return from Luis Cordova. Haven't seen him use that 3-wall return too often.
Side out.
Nadi wanted a screen there. He's not going to get the call, and now he's going to do what he does, make eye contact with the referee, maybe walk out and ask. Let's go look at that.
That was one of those gray area calls, Dave. I think that really could have gone either way. I wouldn't say it was a bad call by any means.
No, I just
18,
believe that there's
19.
certain calls that are hard to interpret, even as a player.
That's a great shot from
Side
Nadi.
out.
That's vintage Nadi Alvarado. Revolving door to the left with a big reverse on it. That's a shot we talked about earlier today, Dave. That's a great
20
weapon.
serving 18.
Luis Cordova very much in this game, though. He's played very well here throughout this event and in this first game. And there's the announcer's curse while speaking.
So that's called the announcer's cursing, since it's happening while it's taking place. We call it the announcer cursing,
21-18.
not the announcer's curse.
Present
The curse would have
tense.
been, yes, correct.
And that's another incredible
Point.
serve.
It's
That's
another one of
Nadi's
those-
fourth ace, Dave, down the left with the reverse. And it's not like Luis is fooled. He's
22,
over there
18.
on the left, reading Nadi's body language, but he just can't get a hand on that serve. That time he does.
Replay.
And that's a shot, Dave, that I'd like to see Nadi throw out of his repertoire. I see him go for that overhand left kill. I've never seen him make the shot or end the rally with that shot. Oftentimes,
22-18.
he catches that left corner, the ball bounces once into the right side wall, and he's lost control of the point. I think
Short.
Nadi would see if he studied some tape of himself, and I know he does, that
Second.
he'd be better off just pushing that ball down the right wall, or maybe even throwing a sharp 3-wall shot. And Nadi wanted the hinder there, Dave. He half-heartedly hit that shot. Believe me, he would have been looking back at our referee had he not ended the rally with that shot.
23-18.
It's really been a huge comeback for Nadi, who, remember, Dave, trailed 15-8, and he's now won 16
24-18.
of the last 19 points. Very hard to do in rally scoring, Dave.
Well, he's
And
doing it with
another
serves like
amazing
that.
serve, well-played return.
Wow.
And that's an
First
incredible shot. And that's the
3-minute
exact
pass.
picture, Dave, on the Race for 8 poster of Nadi Alvarado spread out with that left hand.
So the final score there, Dave Fink, as you take this one home,
25-18.
25-18.
Nadi ending that game on a 17-3 run.
This is the Simple Green Race for 8. We are live here in Salt Lake City, Utah. We'll have game number 2 coming up right around the corner. You stay here at racefor8.com.
All right, Simon's back in.
Okay, let's go live. And we are back here in Salt Lake City, Nevada, Utah. I've said that twice now. And I think I'll continue to keep saying it this weekend because for some reason, it's in my head, Dave Fink, that we are in Nevada, even though we're kind of far away.
For some reason, the place
right,
that we're
game
playing
2.
our next stop is the LLAC,
0-0.
and I can't get past that.
Why don't we just call it the Los Angeles Athletic Club? This is game number 2,
Sounds like a lot of
0-0, with Nate Alvarado serving
Second.
to Luis Cordova after Nadi wins the first game 25-17.
Nice shot there from Nadi. Makes a good adjustment on that ball. And that's an amazing shot from Nadi Alvarado. stays with it, and that's been a knock on him, that he sets his feet too soon. Gets caught in those back corners, but that time he lets the ball roll through his hand at about half speed, Dave, with a lot of control. That's one of those nuances, shots that Nadi's developed as he's gotten older. And Luis has to put that away, Dave.
Slide out.
Nadi does not have an underhand paddle shot, and if he did, could you imagine how dangerous he would be, because he's always in the front court.
Well, imagine if Dave Chapman had a 90-mile-per-hour power serve
I call the serve
reverse. I mean, it's just...
Both agree. Point. 2-1.
Imagine if Emmett Peixote's right was as good as his left. I mean, you could go on and on.
Slide out. Two serving two.
The deuces are wild on the scoreboard here. Nadi trying to pick off Cordova here in the second game so he doesn't have to go breaker. Not jumping over that ball, going behind his back now.
That was an amazing pickup from Nadi, Dave, and I can't wait to watch the replay of that entire point. The athleticism and awareness of Nadi Alvarado jumping up just as the ball is flying underneath his feet. Now watch this retrieve, but behind the back, and he flushes it too, Dave. It wasn't like he just mishit it off the end of his thumb. I mean, he flushed that in the middle of his hand behind his back.
And then he rolls it out with the left hand on the shot that you said you wish he wouldn't take anymore.
That wasn't the shot.
That actually was the
Nope,
shot.
it was not. I'd like you to take that back.
Not going to.
I will show you the shot when it happens next.
And I'll say that's the exact same shot that he took.
That's true, you will. So actually, maybe I won't say it, just for that reason. And a little cat.
I played by hand too quick on that one.
Well, you re-raised me and I folded. Good play. A little cat and mouse up there in the front court, and
also in the booth.
Luis Cordova got his mouse there. Literally, as he flat rolled that ball in the left corner.
Broken ball. Replay the last point.
That's frustrating. Nadi Alvarado's in there chewing gum.
That's the obligatory announcement from you. He's chewed gum all year on the Race for 8 Pro Tour. And you've mentioned it in every match. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
But every time I bring it up, I act like it's the first time I've ever heard it.
That's
or
all
ever
part
seen
of the
it.
shtick.
Even though I chew gum when I play. If it falls on the floor, I pick it up and put it right back in my mouth. That's how I do's it.
Well, there's a 30-second rule.
This is game number 2. Rally scoring best 2 out of 3
Replay
to
the last
25.
one.
Tiebreaker also to 25.
3-3. 3-3.
Very good serve there from Luis. Not a good shot there from Luis Cordova. And this is the early game Nadi Alvarado, Dave, who just is so lackadaisical, so casual.
4-3.
I think with rally scoring, Nadi just thinks I just need to get a bunch of side outs so we can get this up to around 15,
Screen ball.
and then
Screen ball.
I'll bring out those top serves.
Screen ball. I'll let it go next time if you want.
I agree with Nadi here. These guys are pro players. They can break through these screens. He just pushed
4-3.
Nadi happened to hit that shot very well, but a lot of times when you're screened like that, Dave, you don't. I think Nadi's reacting more to the shot he hit than the actual call, because he hit a great shot.
Well, if you're screened, then you just have to hold up. That's just the answer. You just come into that play, and if you are screened, you hold up. You can't.
Well, players can call the contact, but they can't call a screen.
Well, if you can't see it, why don't you swing at the ball and lift your hand immediately?
Slide out.
That was one of the ugliest shots you'll ever see attempted. Nadi came closer to hitting himself with the ball than he did the front
5-4.
wall.
Here's something I've been thinking about, and I know we've talked about it before. But on a play like that screen, or let's say it's a short ball, and we've talked about this, you and I have privately, what if the guy just grabs the ball immediately and takes the chance?
Point.
Saying, let's just make a rule that there is no more appeals after a rally ends. That's the only way you can appeal it is if it happens right on that moment. So if you're
6-4.
so strong enough to think that that ball was a short ball, you need to grab it. You cannot return it. And as soon as the ball is returned, the appeal is over. You can no longer appeal. What do you think of that rule?
I initially thought that that was the best way to do it, but I now think that it's too much of a disadvantage to the returner. It's too much of a risk for him to take. Because sometimes you're not 100% sure. You think it might have been short, but are you willing to risk?
But what's worse than 40-shot rally just to have it overturned on an appeal from a line judge who's text messaging his girlfriend?
Well,
Short.
he could also be sending out for pizza.
Well, then in that case, the rule's all right the way it is.
My suggestion would be to limit players' challenges to 3 a game, and that way you have to really be judicious in the challenges that you take, rather than just challenging anything that was remotely close. Maybe even 2 challenges a game, Dave, and maybe when you get to 2 points from the game, the referee can then decide if he wants to challenge, a referee's challenge, like 2 minutes left in the NFL. I think that would solve a lot of problems.
I believe that was a brand new ball that he was warming up with before. So it's a fresh ball. It's a good ball.
Abe is stubborn. And
He is.
He was warming up with it.
Cordova
before.
says he likes the ball, and
got
Nadi
it
says he
brand new
doesn't.
Out of a can. That's what he said too. So if he thinks you think it's a good ball? Do you think, Luis? Yeah, let's play ball.
Should have thrown the ball to Abe. Abe could have inspected it and then decided.
8-4.
Arguments like this, you can kind of realize why.
8-4.
You can when you see an argument like this from Nadi, you don't even have to look at the scoreboard.
Nice footwork there from Nadi. Jumps to his left. Gets great spacing there and extends on that kill shot.
This is unbelievable right here.
Luis, do you agree? You want it? It's up to him too. Both players have to agree.
This is an interesting thing that's going on
here.
here.
If he says it's okay, we got to play with it. Play ball. 5, serving 8.
I feel like
The
I'm in a
referee really
circus
needs
right
to
now.
step in here and either tell the players to play or change the ball, but there's too much conversation here between the players. Luis doesn't want to talk.
Well, Luis did the
second.
It was actually kind of funny if you think about it. After that play, he looked at the ball and tried to see if it was broken, and that made Nadi go, wait a second, he must be seeing what I'm seeing. So he has to have this thing replaced.
Point.
So if Luis wouldn't have done that, then the second little outburst about the ball wouldn't have taken place. It's kind of funny, actually. So I think Luis should do it again. Next time he gets the ball, just really inspect it. So Nadi's taking Luis out of his comfort zone now by dealing with this ball situation.
Point.
And that's
since
a new
that thing has happened, it's 4 points for Nadi.
Well, that's a new wrinkle in the Alvarado game. Is the fly kill on the return of serve the first strike? Didn't see Nadi use that play a lot, Dave, earlier in his career. Now he's looking for that.
7, serving 8.
And that's all part of staying in that server's box for Nadi. That way he can attack those weak returns. This is a shot that used to give Nadi a lot of trouble. And it gave him trouble once again there, Dave, as he was handcuffed on it.
Nine, 7.
Nadi with a beautiful inside out, but Luis picks it up. And that's just a great shot from Nadi. He hits that shot from the ground up, Dave. He pushes off his legs, comes over top of the ball, keeps the ball down. Luis not anticipating Nadi pinching
8-9.
the corner from that position.
Score here is 8-9.
Short.
You know that Nadi's not happy with this ball, and then he gets that short serve, and everything he's thinking about right now is that this ball is terrible. Cordova also knows that it's a bad ball, but he's he's playing with it.
But you have to understand, Luis Cordova is used to playing with tennis balls and golf
Right.
balls and dead racket balls, and he just doesn't care.
That's true.
He's playing two-wall squash, ball, whatever he plays in Mexico, Dave, so it's just
That's a good
all
point.
part of the game. Now, Nadi is the type of guy that's a little bit more particular. Nadi will buy a $6 golf ball, and if
9-9.
one of the dimples is not right, he'll just throw it away.
Short.
That ball went 105 yards instead of 106. Ooh.
Nadi looking at it
Second.
there. I'm not going to comment on the golf comment,
It's too bad.
but I think it's comical what's going on here with the ball situation.
I tried to lure you in. It was kind of like fishing. I threw out my
10-7
rod, but I
up.
couldn't reel in my bait.
Not hungry. I know that's rare for me to say.
Huh.
I only eat when my wife cooks. When I'm out of town, unless I get a hotel room with a kitchenette, I starve.
Side out.
I'm actually in that exact same boat. That might be the first thing we've ever had in common.
Serving 10.
2 if you include the L on the bracket next to our name at handball tournaments we enter.
That's a good point.
Actually, you did really well this tournament. I
Thank
thought.
you.
I still think.
Always played my best handball in March. I'm really looking forward to the
11-10.
Los Angeles Athletic Club race stop number 7 in March.
Well, at least you called it by its right name.
And
Side
Nadi
out.
just sort of watching that ball
11-11.
roll out right in front of him. It was hit so slowly, you'd think he'd make a move forward for it. Great get from Luis, and like Abe Montiel, giving Nadi the shot there, he hops
out.
over Luis, and it's great athleticism from Alvarado there. Let's not forget, Dave, this guy is 37, 38 years of age.
12-11.
There just are not many athletes in the world, Dave, still at the top of their sport, particularly in a sport as physically demanding as handball, one of the most challenging and difficult sports
Point.
to play physically in the world, and yet here he is still number 2 in the world. It's phenomenal, and he's playing the youngest guy in our tour, Dave, who's breaking into that
13-11.
top 9 after this event.
The oldest is playing the youngest. And they're both born in the same
Short.
town in Chihuahua, Mexico. Juarez.
Second.
Strange shot right there from Alvarado.
Nadi's gassed right now,
Side
Dave.
out.
Went to the showtime between the leg shot and then tried to end the rally with a circus left shot into that right corner. It's hard to tell, Dave, from here, but very difficult to breathe here in Salt Lake City. Just no oxygen at 4,300 feet.
The Nani does that experienced pro lean against the back wall and then notice that you made it wet, have to go out and get the towel
12-13.
after that.
I used to
Short.
disparage that particular maneuver until I became one of the older pros. Now I respect it and learn from it.
Look how far
Replay.
Cordova backed into Alvarado there on that revolving door.
12-13. Short ball.
It's going
Short
to be
ball.
appealed.
Pio, I called it short. Both agree. Both agree. Second.
Oh, look at that ball. Nice natural hook
Point.
that popped over to the glass, and Nadi had to deal with that.
Nadi swung and missed
13.
twice there.
Short.
It only counts for 1 point, though. Short
Second.
ball, second serve.
Oh, great shot from Nadi Alvarado.
Side out.
He was out of our camera range, Dave, and finds the bottom board from 38 feet.
Wasn't sure if he took that above his hip.
I think he had to have
13.
taken it at shoulder level. The way that ball was coming off the back wall, he would have had to have moved out about 5 feet to let it drop.
That's a side out.
I agree with our referee there. I did not think that
Side
ball
out.
was going to make it, and I don't think Nadi did either. He's not arguing.
Fourth.
Don't know what's going on in the back court here.
14.
Great shot from Nadi. I was going to say, Dave, that he was a little bit too close to that ball,
What
but
would
he
it-
adjusted his swing, hit the ball a little bit closer to his body than maybe he would have liked, but still hit the rollout.
I know we're past this.
15-14.
But what would happen if Nadi went up a few points and then Cordova asked for a new ball?
I think Nadi would be happy to bring in a new ball. It's to Nadi's advantage to have a faster ball. Luis and I actually had a new ball come in late in the second game that was so dead that he couldn't get his serve over the line. He was trying to throw it around. I said, no, keep it dead.
15-15.
This is how I want it.
That's funny.
When you play Luis Moreno, you want to keep the
Side out.
balls in a freezer.
Now these guys are trading back and forth here with
Equipment. 2 minutes.
this rally. I just
I see your gloves really quick.
don't understand how
We're fine.
changing a headband should last 2 minutes.
I agree with you.
I mean,
And that's
I
something
understand
that
it's an equipment
Luis,
timeout, and
can I see
therefore
your
you do
gloves
get a
real quick?
2-minute timeout,
We're
but
fine. Actually,
it doesn't take 2 minutes.
Can you change it?
Now I can understand it going 2 minutes because we're asking Luis Cordova to change his gloves here.
well, that's actually a rule, Dave, that will be mentioned and revised tonight
Both.
at the pro player
So
meeting.
much. Hey, both players have to agree.
You're watching the WPH Simple Green Race for 8 men's quarterfinals between
players-
Luis Cordova
both
and
players have
Nadi
to
Alvarado Jr. Earlier today it was Luis Moreno taking care of David Fink in 25-21 and 25-17. Nadi Alvarado wins the first game here 25-17 and trying to go in to face Luis Moreno in the semifinal. That will take place tomorrow at 10 a.m. Vic Perez, who is the Cinderella story so far at this tournament, will be up against Alan Garner here on court number 1 at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. That's in 5 minutes from now, so that's going to be delayed just a little bit. And then Sean Lenning versus Eddie Chip Morales at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Pacific.
All right, time back in.
And we're back in now.
Score is 16-15. Short. Second.
Nice wrinkle there from Nadi Alvarado. Lured Luis Cordova to sleep there with that overhand paddle. Luis also hitting an overhand paddle, but ball checked up off the
17-15.
side wall, and Nadi hits a beautiful reverse pass.
Did you mean to say lured? I thought I heard you say Lord. He lured him into it.
An amazing get there from
Side out.
Luis Cordova, and he
Did you get
did
it,
get
Luis?
that ball.
That's a side out.
Nadi didn't think he got it. That's why he walked
How's
up
the
to the
floor?
front court. And if we can see a replay of this, we'd all look at it.
That was an Andy Net special. Unbelievable get. A backhanded flip.
Good. Towel.
There was that get right there. from Luis Cordova. You're watching the scoreboard here, powered by Zions, the official sports drink of the UFC, the Ultimate Fighters. And now the official scoreboard of the WPH. This is game number 2. Cordova scored 17 in game number 1.
(16-17).
Cordova serving here at 16-17. He's been able to fool Alvarado a couple times with that great natural hook, but here's a huge setup. Alvarado takes care of it. Dead center front wall, hops away. Now at 18-16 for Nadi. Trying to get to 25.
This is where Nadi really separated himself in that first game. Obviously in the first game he trailed big, but when they did get close in this high teens range, Nadi turned on the gas. But Luis Cordova hanging in there right now, Dave.
A lot of side outs here. That's why you're seeing these close scores. That's the reason why rally scoring is what it is. Back and forth like this will give you close scores at the very end, and we're getting close to the end here at 19-17. If Cordova gets a side out, it'll be, wow, I don't know how you can get that ball even back.
Feel the serve, I called it good.
I thought that serve was well over the line, at least 2 inches. Great serve from Alvarado. Do you have Luis Cordova, Dave, on your short list of the next generation that's going to eventually take over these top spots? I know Sean Lenning is still kind of in that young generation, but he's sort of what you'd say in his prime. He's about 24. You've got guys like Luis Cordova, Robbie McCarthy, Armando Ortiz, even in that early 20s range.
I'm only taking his opinion and his opinion. I don't know who that is.
Well, is he on my short list? Yes, but if you're including Irish handball players, then probably not.
Ball?
I think they've probably got 20 players right now that are at that level. And they would all, it would be a long list. That is a short list. Short, long list. Tyler Stoffel is on that list.
He's on my list for sure. Luis Cordova's brother Daniel also on my list. Look at the hustle here from the 38-year-old.
There was some contact. They tied up
I think
feet.
it should have been played over.
Well, Nadi almost tripped backwards on himself. Referee can't see all of that stuff. You and I, though, we're different.
I'm not sure how he doesn't see what we see. We're looking at the same thing. But your point is well taken.
We get to see it in high definition. That's better than seeing it in real life.
Didn't know that.
Well, I made it up.
And Nadi had a chance for the reinvention there, Dave, but he went back down the left. And that's a tough shot to hit, but he executes it to perfection.
And I believe a timeout's going to be called here from Nadi Alvarado, who just scores his 21st point. Cordova at 18, playing him strong, Dave.
And let's see if we can take an instant replay of that last point during this timeout. Watch this beautiful fly kill from Nadi Alvarado. This shot was a little bit over a hit. He could have ended the rally here, but now he's got the shot. And look at how he keeps that ball down on the side wall. Looked like that ball was going to pop into the side wall, but Luis Cordova just unable to make the get.
It's a good camera angle of the crowd here, and it actually goes up even further up in the air, and they've been here since dawn and will be here past dusk, if we're not already getting close to dusk.
Well, this is a very appreciative and educated handball gallery, Dave. They love watching these top players play. They're extremely complimentary and appreciative to have the guys here. And we're obviously very appreciative to be here. Amazing event. Great shot there from Nadi.
Point.
I believe that Cordova's just getting tired. Like you said, he's been on the court for a very long time. this weekend already with the qualifier.
22-18.
I agree with you.
His win against Armando, and just some of those right there where he's not giving up. He just doesn't have the juice that he had in the early rounds.
Doesn't have that explosive, quick first step that he needs to return these Alvarado serves.
(23-18).
Nadi really starting to swing well now with both hands.
Oh, he just hit a Mongo reverse with his left hand, and that shows you that he's really relaxed.
But of course, his reverse is his natural. Don't want to go a match without saying that.
I say it even if it's not in one of his matches.
Just normal conversation for you. Like some people talk about the weather.
Nope. I talk about reverse is his natural.
Okay.
Breakfast, it doesn't matter. Toll booth.
Nice shot from Luis Cordova. And now Luis Cordova, Dave, back into this game. Don't start etching just yet is what I'm saying. I know you have the A already written down.
I've actually left the name off. I think you're looking at the wrong bracket, son. I have no name written down on the bracket. Normally I have it predicted ahead of time, and I'm almost always
20 serving 23.
30% right. Almost 30% right. That's why my pencil has an eraser.
Well, I don't have that luxury because, as you know, I etch in, Dave, to plaques, and I already have etched the Alvarado in. The WPH reimbursed me the first time I etched a name in that was incorrect, but I know I've been told that I won't be reimbursed anymore, Dave, for incorrect etching.
That's right. Nadi goes for that tomahawk, and now that's the 21st point for Luis Cordova. But Cordova's going to have to score 3 points right here to keep this game alive, and more than that to go into extra innings. So if Nadi gets a side out, match is over. Looks like it could happen here.
And that's the left-hand shot that I'm talking about there, Dave. Normally, Nadi tries to drive that into the left corner. That time, he goes behind Luis with a power drive to the right, and it's good enough to win the match.
We will have another one coming up in less than 5 minutes as we get ready for another round of 8 match with Vic Perez and Alan Garner right around the corner. You stay here at racefor8.com.
Nadi, we saw you start off a little slow today, and then you seemed to pick it back up. What went through your mind right there?
You know, just trying to get back in the game. Different court, different everything. So just trying to feel the court out and feel the ball and the player. So it just takes a little time.
And it looked like you had to change your strategy a little when you thought the ball was kind of dead.
Yeah, I thought the ball was dead. The ball changed a bit there, so the height and everything changes on the serve. So just a little adjustment.
All right, well, good luck later.
Thanks.
You should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo, whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.